guys, let's go to our predictions for the weekend. We're looking at 3 games this weekend. Everton up against Leeds United. Me, I'm particularly very interested in this one. I love the relegation scrap. But Everton up against Leeds United, Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Newcastle up against Liverpool. But let's start with Everton, Leeds United. Eddie, is there a way out of that relegation scrap for Everton? They looked good against Arsenal. They looked ordinary against Liverpool. But they have a squad that should be able to do a job, right? Everton, but Leeds United on their part as well. They've changed. Both teams have changed managers, right? Leeds United also have a manager who, he's been talking all about what not about the team and all of that. But let me start with you, Femi. Everton, Leeds United.
Well, it's like you said, it's a 6-pointer, isn't it? You win that game, you're going to be feeling absolutely great, and you don't want to lose that game as well. If you take a point away, you just dust it off and go. But if you lose, that's going to be very painful. And I probably want to hedge it for Everton. Why do I think so? Sean Dyche has never been an away manager. Even at his peak when he was at Burnley, a lot of the time when he traveled away from home, he couldn't really set up the team because I think he prefers functional players to artistic players. He wants them to do a job. And if you see against Arsenal, they did a job. Now, it's okay and easier to do a job when you're at home and the fans are behind you screaming, you have adrenaline. But when you're away from home and you're expected to be running around and the other fans are absolutely pouring on their own team to do well, and you've got players who can really put the ball on the floor and play well, they're going to have a problem. That's why when they went to Anfield, he said they were ordinary, but they almost got that first goal, remember? Only some inches. If that had gone in, probably their confidence would have gone up. So they play functional football. They want to score at set pieces. That's what Sean Dyche has always managed his teams with. But of course, if it doesn't work, they look ordinary, doesn't it? So, I was saying to somebody against Everton, I said, no matter how much they rushed that day and worked, if Arsenal had scored that goal first, that would have doused their energy. Against Brentford, if that goal had been disallowed and we won 1-0, nobody will remember that Brentford were all over us. You would think Arsenal were magical. So when you lose a game, honestly, you look ordinary. Against Man City, there were some times that we looked like the better team, that we pinned them back. But when you lose 3-1, everybody forgets all the good work. You remember the scoreline. That's how the human brain works. So I think Everton are not so ordinary. Away from home, that's when they don't have their powers to push for 90 minutes. But at home against Leeds, I'm going to give it to them 100% to win that game because I know that they'll be running. I mean, look at what Gray did when he came on in the second half at Anfield. That kid ran himself to the ground. Imagine if he was playing at home in front of his own fans. So you can expect Everton to be on top of it. Leeds, they've got some decent players, but I just honestly think most of Leeds players are average players. From your Harrison to Hailing they're just players who genuinely are like a 6 out of 10. Honest players, but there's none of them that I can rate a 7 out of 10. Nonto has been decent, but he still got no experience yet. So away at Everton, I think they may come short, even though they went and did well against Man United. But that was their first game without a manager. Things are settling down now. You're going to have to really find that extra. So I think Everton are the team to take this away. I'll probably give them a not so comfortable 1-0 victory.
A not so comfortable 1-0 victory. Eddie, Leeds have not in 6 games. Everton have been able to keep 4 clean sheets at home to Leeds United. Not the kind of place Leeds United love traveling to.
Not the kind of place they like traveling to, but I do disagree a little bit with Femi. I think that Everton are played, they can't score goals. That's a problem, right? And if you look on the other side, Leeds can score goals. They've got a couple of players that are able to put the ball in the back of the net. Bamford is trying to feel his way back into the lineup. Everton, you're not quite sure whether it's Mopé, that they're going to play up front. I think he was on the bench, starting that game against Liverpool. And Calvin Lewin, you don't quite know where he is. So for me, I look at this game, it looks like a draw all written all over, for me. The way I'm looking at this game, I think, maybe a 1-1 draw would happen in the game. I would not be surprised if Leeds won this game, because I think that the way that they play, just allows them to just get to the box with a little bit more of quality in there. Gnonto, I think, is a good player. Obviously, first time in the league. He's still working his way through defenses, but you can see flashes of brilliance in there. And he absolutely terrorized Man United in that first game that they played, and I think they were unlucky to go down and draw that game. So I'm gonna look at a 1-1 draw in this game between Leeds and Everton.
I hear you guys. I hear you guys. But Everton, like Femi pointed out, Everton can. Sorry, what it was, Eddie. Everton can play, but they are over relying on Demarai Gray at some point to score all of their goals.
Yeah,
and not forgetting the tall English boy now, and
Calvert-Lewin.
when they
Calvert-Lewin,
thank you, Calvert-Lewin, and when they are not, delivering, the team keeps running. They do all the running, all the hard work, and can't get an end product. But against Leeds United, who can't seem to keep clean sheets, who don't know how to defend goals anymore, I think they will find the odd goal here and there. And I think Everton will win this one, maybe 2-0 at the end of the day. But I think Everton will win this game. Newcastle up against Liverpool is the second game we're going to be looking at. Newcastle fighting to play in the Champions League. They are building something beautiful at Newcastle, and getting into Europe will be like a very, very good springboard to attract players who want to play continental football, not just regular journeymen and all of that. And so they have been fighting to turn, and they've been very brilliant all season long. They've been absolutely brilliant. But then Liverpool have been out of color. They've been off color for a while. Then suddenly against Everton, we saw maybe not the old Liverpool that run at you for 90 minutes, but we saw a Liverpool that found a way to mix and match enough to get the results they need. And I'm looking at that game, and I'm totally seeing Newcastle United winning that one. So I'm going to start the prediction on this one. Newcastle to win that game, maybe 3-1 at the end of the day, 3-1 to Newcastle United. I don't know what you guys think, Eddie.
Wow, that is a bold prediction as I've ever seen. Listen, I don't trust these teams, right? Liverpool at Anfield, they tend to get their mojo. Crowd is with them. They played against this team at the bottom of the league, so I look at that result. I'll say, wait, hold on, don't start celebrating yet. Salah is not back yet, because he scored a goal against Everton. It's not time to get the pom-poms out. So for me, I look at that game and I look at Newcastle. Newcastle are like the draw specialists right now. Almiron seems to be the source of a lot of their goals. He's the highest goal scorer in the team with 10 goals. You've got Callum Wilson, who's got 7 goals, but he's been struggling with injury, in and out of the team. So I don't see a lot of goals from Newcastle. Their defense is incredible, and I think that's the reason why they are right up there. But I'm not quite sure they have the firepower, up the top of the pitch, to continuously keep winning games. So I don't know how they're going to score 3 goals in this game. I think, they're going to keep it very, very tight. They'll be more worried about what, Liverpool can do up front, so they're going to set up in a way to frustrate. I see them doing exactly what they did to Arsenal, trying to frustrate Liverpool, trying to frustrate Salah, David Nunes, and all those top attacking players from scoring a goal. So I will not be surprised if this thing ends in 0-0. It's not uncommon for Newcastle to go out. I know that they're at home in this game, but they are playing Liverpool. If no goal is scored in the first 20 minutes, it's going to be 0-0, because that's how Newcastle like to play. So I'm going to go for a 0-0 scoreline in this game.
Well, I
Also,
mean, Eddie pointed something very important out. Newcastle have become the draw specialists. Because if you look at the last few games, since they beat Leicester, was it 3-0? They went to Leeds, 0-0. They came to Arsenal, 0-0. They did beat Fulham 1-0 at home. And Fulham, of course, are no pushovers, but they did well on the day. But then they went back to their draws. Palace 0-0. West Ham, that you would have thought they would have gotten something. I mean, you thought they would have beaten West Ham at home. It was 1-1. And then they went to Bournemouth over the weekend and still ended up 1-1. So you're looking at 5 draws out of 6. That's a lot. 5 draws. Now, if you were winning and losing, you gather more points if you were drawing every week. Now, drawing gives you the confidence that we're not losing. But I don't think you want to draw 38 games because you're going to end up on 38 points. But if you actually won 19 games and you lost 19, you'd actually have 57 points, isn't it? So you're way off, but 20 points better off than the person who's drawing every week. So I think they probably lost their head, just like Arsenal, and we're talking about that blip, that any team will suffer a blip along the line. But this has been ongoing now. So 6 games and 5 draws in there. That's a lot. And you're looking at teams like Leeds, like Palace, like West Ham, like Bournemouth. These are teams that are struggling at the minute and have been struggling. Leeds have been struggling. Palace have been struggling. West Ham have been struggling. Bournemouth have been struggling. So if you come up against a revitalized and rejuvenated Liverpool, I don't know how it's going to end up in 0-0 because Liverpool will push them back. They would use that I mean, every one of them was saying their season starts now. That's what Jurgen Klopp said. That's what the guys said when they won that game. So I think the energy may return to the Liverpool dressing room, and I just see them possibly making this 2-1. I think Newcastle will score. They're their home team. They've got home advantage. The crowd would absolutely be on top of them. But I just see Liverpool edging this by 2-1. It's not gonna be a comfortable one because Liverpool would have to fight hard for it. But I think they're ready to go again. So, and Van Dijk is back in the team, though he's not playing yet, but he's back training, and he could possibly feature maybe in the second half, maybe give him some minutes, maybe starting for 60 minutes. So there's an edge there, and I think Liverpool may just have it back now too. And they've got Diogo Jota back. You know that he got some minutes as well. So Firmino is back fit as well. So the ammunition is returning, and if you've got your new signing scoring goals as well, I bet you would have a taste. We want to get more. The Dutch wonderful boy. So maybe Gakpo may be the game winner. I don't know, but I think it might just be 2-1 to Liverpool.
Okay, 2-1 to Liverpool on that one. Our final game for the weekend: Aston Villa at home to Arsenal. Arsenal need the result. Interesting enough, the two sides have similar form. They go into this game with similar form. In their last 5 games, both of them have won 2, drawn 1, and lost 2. So it's very similar trajectory for the two club sides. But then last 3 head-to-heads, Arsenal have won all 3. Their last 3 games against each other, Arsenal have won all 3. Guys, let's look at Arsenal away at Aston Villa. Is this where, like Arteta and some of the boys have said, the season starts now? Is this where Arsenal put an end to this rot the last 3 games have thrown at them? Or will Aston Villa, with a manager who knows Arsenal to some extent, will they continue Arsenal's problems?
So for me, it's a must-win, right? Let's just get that out of the way. It's a must-win game for Arsenal. Aston Villa are an inconsistent team right now, and you can kind of argue it's not just about the results that they've had; it's even in the performance. I expected more from them, against Man City, but they were completely rolled over in their last game. And then you saw them put that performance against Manchester United and, come up with the result. They don't score a lot of goals. Ollie Watkins does have a knack of playing very well against us when we play. But I think for me, this is a game to reset for Arsenal. This is a game to get back to what were we doing that was bringing us success? How do we get back that belief? How do we get back that confidence? Let's remove all the nerves. Let's start the way that we normally start, as a house on fire. Get the first couple of goals, and then manage the game, come out with no injuries. And now you're looking forward to the Leicester game. So looking at Aston Villa, there are a couple of subplots, just as you mentioned. The manager, previously would want to get a result against, Arsenal. Martinez, would also want to get a good result against Arsenal. He tends to try and leave his form for when he plays Arsenal. But I just see only one way this game goes, just because of where things are right now. So I fully expect that Arsenal will win this game. They have to win this game. So I'm going to go for a 2-1 victory to Arsenal in this game. There's a feeling that we could actually win it 2-0, but I'm not quite sure at the back, whether that confidence is completely there, because of the amount of goals we've been conceding. So, a goal to go in from a set piece or one of those, sort of things, but, we should win 2-1.
Well, I mean, Eddie's made some great points there, Kali, and I think for me, what may work out best for us is that Villa have been an away team this few weeks. I mean, they did great in their first game under the manager at home. But before they went to Man City, and that's why we expected a little bit better from them. They had actually won their last 3 away games. And I think Bailey is being their go-to man for goals.
Yeah.
If he's quiet, maybe the whole team will be quiet. So one of the key things is to keep that kid quiet. I don't know if it's Martinez. If it's Tomiyasu or Ben White that will do the job, but somebody has to do a job on him and keep him quiet. Maybe if he likes to play from the right most times, so maybe Zinchenko, maybe you could have Tierney to do the job. But if we keep him quiet, I think the rest, because if you look across the team, you would imagine that Coutinho will be helping them, but Coutinho has been quiet. If you look at Martinez, I did say Martinez might have something to prove, but I think they lost Ings and lost a bit of firepower as well. Because Ollie Watkins will score goals, but he's not going to score every week. So where I think we may have a little bit of favor or a little bit of something going for us is that they're at home, the pitch is massive, Villa Park. And that kind of wide pitch favors the team that has possession more often. And if we keep the ball, we can run them ragged and we can create more space to score goals. When the pitch is smaller, it's harder to play. That's why Selhurst Park is always difficult for people, because the crowd are on top of you. That's why Highbury was incredible for us as well when we were at Highbury. It was a smaller stadium. The pitch, the players are on top of them. The crowd is on top of you. The home team goes great. But when the pitch is widened, that's why it's taking us so long to get used to the Emirates as well. So Villa Park is a huge stadium. I think that may serve us well in really pinning them back and possibly opening up the gaps. And you can expose Saka one-on-one or Martinelli one-on-one. I just hope Coleman doesn't resurrect in Young. I hope he doesn't resurrect in Ashley Young, and Ashley Young can maybe give a foul away, give a penalty, or Saka can. But however we do it, we've got to really, really get things going. And I hope Trossard or Martinelli, whoever plays on the left, can do a job there, and because I think our game depends on the wings. If those two wingers do well, because you have a lot of space to work with, then we're going to do well on the day. That's something I can't predict yet because I don't know the mood of the player. So I hope we win this 2-1 as well. My heart tells me until they start the game, maybe the first 5-10 minutes, can't tell yet what it's going to be like.
Unfortunately,
first 5-10 minutes will tell me what it's going to be.
Unfortunately, we can't wait till then. We need your prediction now.
Well, let's go the Arsenal way and hope for a 2-1 victory. The Arsenal.
I think Arsenal will find a lot of joy in this game. Yeah, you talked about Bailey. He's scored 17 goals this season, 15 of them at home. So he loves to score in front of the fans, and that's somebody that Arsenal will have to keep quiet. I heard the team Partey will be assessed this morning. We're still waiting for words on whether it will be fit enough to play, tomorrow. But I'll rest Partey after seeing the little I saw. After seeing the little I saw of Jorginho, I'll rest Partey one more game. Let him, have his
get
rest.
to 100% fitness.
Exactly. Let Jorginho continue, because Jorginho had I think he had an above average game. He did pretty well. And like somebody pointed out, I think it was Femi saying, okay, Xhaka, you've got to. So you going forward was because Partey was there. He's got the legs, he's got the intelligence, he can do a lot of mopping up, without you. But now we have a Jorginho who might not be able to do all of that. So support him. But Jorginho plays deeper. When we are on the front foot, yeah, you can move forward a bit, but you must not forget about Jorginho at all time. I would like to see Trossard start the game. Martinelli go to the bench, or Martinelli go to the middle, Trossard start, and Nketiah starts on the bench. But I feel like it's the kind of game, you talk about space, I think it's the kind of game Nketiah will find a lot of joy. We know he's quick. We know he loves to turn around defenders. We know he likes to steal away from the shoulders of defenders. It's the kind of game Nketiah will find a bit of joy. And I think if he plays tomorrow, he's going to score at least a goal in that game. But I would like to see Trossard start instead of Martinelli. For some reason, I would like Martinelli to rest. I would like Tomiyasu to start, not because I think if I had my way, Ben White will keep starting, but because of the kind of game he had against Manchester City. Don't mess with his psyche. Don't mess with his confidence. Let him play against Aston Villa, and hopefully Arsenal have a great game, and then his confidence is there again, and then you can bring in Ben White again later on. But don't mess with his psyche. Don't mess with Tomiyasu's psyche by dropping him in this game, because he's going to continue to reflect on that mistake against Manchester City, and it's not good for any player. But I would like to see changes ringed in the side. But no matter what happens, I think it's a game Arsenal love. It's a fixture Arsenal enjoy playing. I think Arsenal will win this one 3-1. I don't think we're going to keep a clean sheet, but I think we're going to score goals and then get very confident, get very excited, and then go for more goals. And because of the size of the pitch and the way Villa plays, we're going to find pocket of spaces that the guys in the midfield will enjoy walking in. And I think Arsenal will score 3 goals in this game, and I think it's going to end 3-1. So that's my prediction for the Aston Villa Arsenal game.